Okay, so let's talk about shoes now for the high arched kind of individual. Um, Shoes are really valuable to consider a, a certain type of shoe with Achilles tendonitis and a number of other things, plantar fasciitis. There's a couple of brands that came out not too long ago, and what kind of sticks in my mind is what some of you may or may not be familiar with is the Hoka brand, Hoka. I'm not trying to say there's a ton of others. There's nobody else out there, but they just are the ones that tend to get a little bit more notoriety because of that roller kind of rocker bottom and a lot of cushion that they offer. And it was designed, if my understanding is correct, it was designed by a bunch of runners that run hills, and so a little bit older guys, and they wanted to be able to run downhill and not have a tremendous amount of load on their body, tendons, ligaments, muscles, and joints and stuff like that. And so to preserve forward kind of motion, the shoe has a little bit of a rocker effect, a little bit, and that allows for a little bit more of a forward progression instead of a up and down kind of a compressive load and a load that the tendons need to overcome a little bit more. So with the shoe design, it kind of just preserves forward progression instead of, and takes a little bit of this kind of compressive load out of the picture a little bit and just translates it to a forward progression. And on top of that, they're pretty cushiony. And so they allow for more, if you can kind of just think about it in this way, it allows for more time for shock absorption for the joints, for the ligaments, for the tendons, and for the muscles. A little bit more shock absorption, okay, over time. And so you end up dispersing the amount of shock that everything has to overcome over a little bit more time, a little bit more distance, because there's more stack height with that shoe of the between your foot and the ground. The sole of the shoe is a little bit thicker, and allows for that a little bit more shock absorption. And on top of that, it kind of rolls you a little more forward, and it does a pretty good job. Now, if you don't have good balance, I do not suggest these shoes. If you're borderline on a cane, and it's not going to be the best thing for you. New Balance has also tried their shot at it, and it's a New Balance has always done a great job. Hoka just tends to do a little bit better job at because they kind of came out with it. Anyway, so I would suggest you consider a Hoka brand kind of shoe, rocker bottom, and just you should feel almost instant. This feels better now. You should have that kind of a aha kind of moment within seconds to minutes. You should feel better with the heel lift, the rocker bottom shoe that we're talking about right now. That will help absorb shock a little bit better this way and kind of roll you forward a little bit more, absorb shock better this way, and create more of a forward progression instead of you having to deal with the shock absorption. And on top of that, the heel lifts. Okay, so I would add all of these things together: the shoe, the heel lift, and we will. Let's see, make sure I hit everything that I wanted to. Yeah, so something to consider with Achilles tendonitis is that if you have a zero drop shoe, it's in the long run, it's not going to make Achilles tendonitis go away quicker. It'll tend to make it a little bit longer because when you have a zero drop, meaning that the heel is about the same height as the ball of the foot, then your Achilles tendon just has to go through more motion and has to be even more lengthened. Okay, so the regular kind of running shoes have a around a 10 millimeter, maybe a little bit less than that, sometimes a little bit more, but around 10 millimeters. I think Hoka's somewhere around, I don't know, six-ish, maybe 7 or 8, I can't remember. Anyway, they're a little bit lower, but they have a great cushion effect. They have a great rolling effect, so it puts less stress on the Achilles tendon and on the Achilles bursa and on the Seaver's problem. And particularly if you add this to it, you won't have to worry too much about having a Hoka that might not have a really high stack height, and I mean, or they have a pretty high stack height. I mean, a difference, a very high kind of heel to forefoot drop of the shoe. Okay. Most running shoes have around a 10. Hoka has less, but with this, you won't have to worry about it. Okay. And yeah, so put those two together and we'll go on to the next one.